all, it is Marcia. I am back to share my dressed up junk journal for Christmas, December/December daily. Excuse me, I have to move something. It's in my way. Forgot I put it there. This is the one that I showed in the other video, and I'll link it below if you want to see what it looked like before I got a hold of it, before I found it and dressed it up. I'm going to share that in just a second. First, I'm going to share, excuse me, it's very dry here today, and I've been stirring up dust, so I apologize if I have to clear my throat a lot today. This is what I have planned to use, and hopefully only this. It doesn't look like very much, but that's because I have really put a lot into the journal already, and I'm hoping that all I have to do is just journal and put pictures in, and maybe, you know, layer a few things with the pictures and call it done. I think that that's the best way for me to journal. If a lot of it's done already for me, then if I skip a few days and I have to play catch up, I don't feel overwhelmed, or just you know, I put it off if there's too much. If I feel like it's too much for me to mess with. This is some really old ink. I don't know why, there's paint on it and it distracted me. Sorry. Okay, so all I have here is, this is just where I keep stickers. Some of these are really old. Some of these I just got. Some of these were given to me ages ago, so they're not all anything that I would necessarily use, but I have them, so I might. You never know. I never know until I start putting stuff on the page with the journaling and everything. So these are all my Christmas stickers that I may use. I have just some yarn and fabric in here, stuff just to decorate a tag if I decide to make a tag. If I'm journaling on a tag and decide to, you know, dress it up with, you know, the top of the tag you put, oh my goodness, I can't talk. Anyways, you guys know what I mean. I have just a few washies. I don't have much in the way of Christmas washi. I don't have much in the way of washi, really. It's just a little bit of plaid, some green argyle, and some gold stripes. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. These are the stamps I plan on using. Some I showed in the other video I've already used in the journal, or I'm just not going to use them at all. A couple ink pads. This is just a tiny little snowflake punch I may or may not use. Who knows? And these are just, this is just cardstock to make journaling cards. Also, extra pattern paper just for journaling cards. Some trims, and this is washi tape also. These are wood snowflake stickers. Excuse me. That I may decide to put somewhere. This is just some scrapbook paper. Oh my goodness. That's really all this is. This is a, let me get this organized in here. This is just a little pocket that I've sewn. If I decide a page needs a pocket, I'd probably ink it, maybe crop the corners, put it in here. This is just some writing paper that I showed in the haul video yesterday that I got. This is actually, I was surprised when I opened it. It's really thick, nice writing paper. I'm really glad I picked this up. This is just for extra journaling paper in case I need to. And now I will just show you the journal and what I've done with it. Get that out of the way. Okay, this was already on here. It's just a metal title. I don't know what it's called, but I just stamped the word beautiful and put it behind it. It was covered with glossy accents. Before I did the glossy accents, though, I took just some sparkly stickles type stuff, or glitter glue or something, and just went around the edge, and then I did the glossy accents over that. So that's all sealed in there. I added book corners to all of the corners to kind of dress it up. I added, I punched holes in the cover because there were no holes for eyelets, and I just tied sari silk. Excuse me, some pretty red sari silk to close the book. If you will remember, and if you've seen, this had book rings in it originally. Like I said before, I'm not a huge fan of book rings, mainly because no matter how big your rings are, either you have huge rings and your book it's not proportional, or you get regular sized rings and then you start dressing up your book and it starts getting alligator mouth like this, and there's nothing you can do about it. Unless you keep perfectly flat pages, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. So I decided, and I don't know how well these are going to hold up. So far they are, and since this is a journal that's only going to be looked at, once a year, we'll pull it out each Christmas and probably flip through it. Otherwise it'll just be stored away. I think it'll hold up quite nicely. I put eyelets in the holes of the covers. Having a hard time talking. I did reinforce with little paper reinforcement stickers on a lot of the papers just to keep them from tearing, which I think even with book rings I should have done, but I didn't. These are just red and white, kind of a cream colored yarn that I just did, and I left a lot of space because I haven't even started putting any memories in this book yet. This is just decorations and it's already very full, but I have space. See, it can grow a lot, and I plan on stuffing it to its capacity. So I was careful to leave plenty of space here for that. And I tied on some extra ribbons. Oops. We have some plaid ribbon that it was wide ribbon, and I just cut it apart to make it, thin. Some fabric with snowflakes on it. Just tied them to each one. And on this, I have clipped just with a lobster clasp. So you can see that. A charm with a key. These, there are a couple of these tiny little charms that, I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit actually, so you can see better. There. I'm trying to see what I'm doing in the camera. That doesn't, I can't do that. Anyways, got a couple of these little charms that I picked up at the thrift store yesterday. Got a little, I don't have to show you all the charms. We have a little stocking, a tiny heart, bunch of, just a collection of beads that are very Christmassy, red and green and sparkly. A little fawn charm. Got just some gold beads. A little snowman. It says joy charm. And some bells, of course. I'm sure you can hear those. And just book corners on the back. Left it pretty plain. I don't like overly decorated, complicated covers, because if I do decide to put it on a shelf, which during Christmas it probably will be, I don't want it hitting other books when you're moving it in and out of the shelf, on and off. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now. Okay, this does make for a very loose book. This does not bother me at all, as long as I know that it's closed on both sides and things inside the book are fastened on or clipped in. I'm sure I'm not going to lose anything. It doesn't bother me. I know not everyone is okay with that, and that's fine. This is just me. This is my book. I'm not selling it. I'm not giving it away. It's just for me. So I did it however I wanted to. I'm going to have to get a drink of water. Excuse me. Okay. We will just hop right in here now. Okay, fuzz flying everywhere. This stuff was already on here. We got little snowflakes. They're sparkly. A sticker, a little envelope just put on here. Put a little note in there. This is a vintage image that I printed from Graphics Fairy. Made a little tuck spot out of that. I have this little sheet of paper. This I got from like the Target dollar spot ages ago. I just inked around it a bit. Important things to do because, Christmas season's coming up. There's things I have to remember I need to do, and some fun things that I want to remember to do. This is a vintage postcard, one of those ones I picked up yesterday at the thrift store. They tuck in there. This opens, And this is my December calendar. I just printed it on my computer, or off of my computer onto copy paper, and then backed it onto the scrapbook paper and sewed around it. Pretty font that I used up there to spell that out. And I will put in only fun activities and events. Oh, sorry, I'm not completely in frame. Only fun activities and events and things going on for December. I won't do any regular planning in this. This will just be for memory planning and things that we're doing this month. So, there's the other side of that. I don't know why I said that. This is cut from a part of a card. It was just fussy cut out from the front of a Christmas card that was given to me. Some lace sewn on the edge with a little bell pinned on. We have a little painted, or stamped, sorry, little clothespin up here, and this is just the recipe cards that I made using the stamp set that I have. One is for desserts, and I inked around it with green, and this one says main dishes and meats, and I inked around it with red. To document special recipes or just dishes that traditions that we have every year. This is the front of a Christmas card that was given to me with some lace sewn on the edge. This is a list that I made back in 2013 when I first made this book. If you don't know the story, you can go to the first video that's linked below to hear all of that. And I've just listed things that I want to put in this book, and I kept it because it still applies. And it is reinforced with just this scrapbook paper. This is the little gingerbread man that I showed you before. I've added some buttons to him. He had baker's twine wrapped around him when I got him. It was like the dollar spot again. He had things on his little feet, like the yards of baker's twine and like $1. And I didn't care for those, so I just covered them up with washi tape. So he's got little socks on now. And he is glued in there as a tuck spot to hold another vintage postcard for journaling. And this is a little tag that says to and from, homemade with love. And it's got a little pancakes recipe on it. And pancakes is one of our favorite weekend breakfast meals that we make as a family, and we like doing different things with them, you know, kind of dressing them up each time. And for, of course, the Christmas season, we will experiment with that, and I can make little notes as to what we did. This pocket here, I've already got my list in there. Probably should have taken that out. But there's also just a journaling card, oops, which is just scrapbook paper with some ribbons stapled to it. I put a pocket on here. This collage was already on here with just some stickers, vintage image, and I put card list here. That's what that list was that I just took out. Was list of friends and family that we will be sending cards out to this year. So I put friends and family on here. It's just stamped onto cardstock and cut and inked, and I have sewed on some little buttons. And it's got linen in the back, and it's all sewn together, and it's sewn onto the page. Back here we have, over here, I don't know what I'm saying, a vintage image of Santa Claus. It says making a list, checking it twice. If I remember correctly, back in 2013 when I made this journal, I just printed this out on off of my computer. I made it into a Word document and just printed it onto cardstock, on the back of cardstock, using a cute little font. And this is where I will be putting gift lists and for kids and family and friends. Over here we have a lace. Oh, and I was just going to mention this. You know, you wouldn't be able to write easily on this, but what I do is take a large piece of cardstock or some cardboard. It could be like part of a cereal box or something, and I just put it behind it, in between them, to write on it, so it's pretty smooth, except for where these buttons are. But you know, you can work around that. You could put an embellishment there or something if you don't want to write over it. And that's what I do with all of my journals, because they are heavily embellished. and that's how I like them. So I just use, you know, something hard between the pages, and I just move through the book as I go. I usually, excuse me, to catch my breath. It's been a long day already, and it's still early. Okay, what was I just saying? Oh, I just keep the piece of cardboard with the book until I'm done with it. I just stick it in there, and yeah. This is just a vintage image, also from Graphics Fairy. This is a stamped little reindeer. These are just for journaling, and they're in this lace pocket that's sewn on. Got 2 pieces of lace. This is also a front of a Christmas card that was given to me, and it makes a little pocket. And I have a poem here called First Snowfall. I know all of us in the family right now love snow, and we're waiting. It has been too many years since we've had a good snow here where we live, and it makes us all sad because we all love snow. I don't even mind driving in it, honestly. It's not a problem for me. This is just the front of a Christmas card that was sent to me, and I will be putting that poem wherever it applies when we get snow. Hopefully we get snow. This is just a little paper clip that I made, that I decorated. After, this is just some of the packaging from the stickers, because these are little stickers that I took it had like the little foam square. I took that off and I glued it onto here, and then I realized after I put it in the book and I flipped the page, I'm like, it looks like a sunflower, and that really bothers me, but nothing else really goes with it and looks good, so I might just have to have sunflowers on the back sides of my poinsettias. I don't know. This is just a vintage image for journaling, and I made several of these. I like the way they stick up. I made 2 poinsettias and then a snowflake one. I'll show you that when we get to it. Some lace sewn down the edge. This is a lace sticker that I put here, and I've done some sewing of some red rickrack. This is also a sticker. A French horn. This is a page from a book that I just got at the thrift store yesterday, and I like this song, and I really like this image, so I just clipped that on here, and there's a little bit of yarn on my paper clip. We got some ruffle sewn trim along the edge. On this side, we have a vintage image and a bingo card to do some journaling on. Oh, I'm silly. Snowflake stamp. He didn't come out great, but snowman. Sorry, snowman stamp. He didn't come out perfect, but I don't mind that. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to stamps. A candle for Christmas poem on top of this vintage image of a candle and some holly. And I backed it and sewed them together. Some vintage hymnal music page for Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I can't think all of a sudden. I sewed them together. Oh my goodness. We have a burlap ribbon here that I made a little pocket out of. We have a vintage image of some birds made into a tag. It's a vintage image of a bird backed with coffee dyed paper for journaling, and just a guest check. Got some washi tape up here and some lace sewn on, and a star and gold bead just dangling on there, pinned on. Another vintage image of a bird, scrapbook paper. Scrapbook paper. This is a red envelope that I might attach it somewhere throughout the month to make a pocket or tuck spot. This is just a vintage image that I really liked. I'm trying to think. Red paper clip with some yarn on it. On this side, I sewed on some pom-pom. Is that what it's called? I think so. Trim. This came from the front of a card. He was a 3-dimensional little snowman, and I just took him off and put him on here on some scrapbook paper. This is a local college that we have around here with snow, and I like the blue and the white together, and it just came from some advertising that we got in the mail back ages ago when I first made this journal. So this is just a journaling card with some snowflakes. This This I say it's because this is the design of the Christmas cards that we made and gave out last year. And I found it and decided to stick it in here. I'll probably do some journaling about that and explain what that is. On the back of that, got a collage. This was already in the journal. Both of these pages, and I like the way I made them, so I kept them the way they were. Just some scrapbook paper and some vintage sheet music. This is a cover of a notepad that had a frame. It probably had something written there, but I just covered that up with some scrapbook paper, sewed on some ribbon. I collaged a song, sheet music song here. There's a little star, and then I put a sticker here of a star, shooting star. Scrapbook paper, coffee dyed muslin sewn on to the edge. This is the front, actually this is from advertising. Got in the mail, fussy cut it, and used that as a little tuck spot. Like so. I'll just leave that there for now. I like it. This is a part of the Christmas cards that we made this year and are sending out. This is just a part of it, and I just put it in there. We had an extra one, and I'll probably journal about why that's in there. It's just another journaling spot and some little snowflakes. Printable journaling card. I printed these ages ago. I would give credit to the person that designed them, but I honestly don't remember. I can't think of it. I did top 10 because I was thinking it could be top 10 songs, top 10 gifts requested, possibly. I don't even know if my kids could think of 10 altogether, because they have like 3 that I've heard a lot about already. So they could probably come up with 10 though. And this is the other little paper clip, and I just did the wood snowflake. It was a sticker and came that way with the button on it, and just backed it with some glittery scrapbook paper, just sparkly scrapbook paper, and then just sandwiched the little paper clip in there. On this side we have a little reindeer sticker and some gold ribbon sewn down the edge. This is a calendar page that I just folded together, glued, and then punched and put in. This is a greeting card, a photo greeting card. You could read that probably faster than I could say it, but I plan on sticking a picture in there, and it flips out. It's glued and washi in to this page, and you could do journaling here or put another picture and vice versa here. We got ribbon sewn on the edge, and pinned on here is a little snowflake charm. This does stick out farther than most of the pages, but with all of the trims and the covers of the book, it fits in just barely. I considered trimming it, but I like the folded finished edge on it, and I didn't want to mess that up or take any chances of the pictures falling out if the glue did not stay adhered. I'm having a hard time talking, and my mouth is very dry. Okay, this is some ribbon with some vintage buttons sewn on, some baker's twine, and some red embroidery floss. And they are sewn onto the pocket, and this is a small pocket, ribbon pocket, sewn onto a larger piece of fabric. So it makes a small pocket here and a large pocket in the back that I just sewed it directly onto the page. Excuse me, I need another drink. I knew this was going to happen because of how dry it is today. Another journaling card, also from the same lady that I cannot remember. I know it says remember and I can't remember. I'm sorry, that was probably only funny to me. Just scrapbook paper that's coffee dyed for some extra journaling. In that little pocket back here is a collaged journaling card that I made with some lace, some more of that hymnal page, scrapbook paper. I inked around. This is a vintage image of a stamp with a little angel on it, and it's got glue and stuff on it, but a lot of that can be just rubbed off, and you can still do some journaling on the back of that. This is a paper bag. This was already originally in the book that I put together a long time ago. I did some collaging here on the front. That was new. reinforced the holes on the side, which my reinforcements are trying to come off. And I left it folded, so this makes a pocket here with a little tag that says Jingle. This is a paint chip. I put it in here because it says Royal Pine, and I put a sticker of a pine tree on there. Do journaling on the back of that. And in the back pocket is just part of a journaling card, or not journaling card, a Christmas card made into a journaling card, just cut. The back I did some more collaging with a label that I inked up and did a little image of a winter scene, a little house back there in the snow. Ruffle sewn ribbon here. A little scrapbook pocket with some fabric sewn on for a tab, and in here it's just some extra scrapbook paper for journaling, and this is packaging from Irish Cream Cappuccino Mix. I really liked that image and the colors, so I put that in there. Got a little just punch, scrapbook paper punch glued on there. I already showed you that. Trying to think. We have scrapbook paper sewn on here, as well as a piece of, this is velvet with some red sequin trim just glued on top of that, and pinned onto it is a little gold angel charm. This is a long video. I don't know how many people will watch it, but that's okay. I'll still show the whole thing. The other side of that, you can see the scrapbook paper sewn on there. Some fabric ruffles sewn on. This is another part of a Christmas card that I cut around. I liked the wreath, and it's a tuck spot. Some lace sticker up there. It's another collaged card that I made with some book page, a little stamped just cardstock, little tab sticking out there. It's a vintage image that I printed and did some glitter glue around cardstock, and then just sewed around the whole thing. That's just in there, and that's just got some yarn on it. We're almost done here, I think. Yep. Another pocket here. This one has lace on it. On the lace is just a little lapel pin that I've bent down the pin part, and so it just sticks on there like that. This is some coffee dyed muslin, and they're sewn together, made a pocket. This is another collage that I made. It says, this is a little tag that comes out of a tiny pocket here. It says North Pole, a vintage image of a stamp, some fabric, a vintage, this is from a vintage envelope that an Ideals magazine was in from like the 1950s. My grandfather had kept the magazine in the envelope this whole time. This is some Argyle scrapbook paper, and I just collaged it and sewed around it, and you can journal on the back of it or paste a picture or what have you. This is a stamped image. You'll probably be able to tell it's a little bit blurry. This was an off stamp that I had made, and it came out blurry and it wasn't perfect, and I was just gonna toss it. But my daughter decided to color it. I told her she could stamp another one and color it, but she decided to color that one, so I thought that was kind of cool. She kept me from having to throw away a perfectly good tag, and I put some glittery little twine up here. Sparkly, glittery, same thing. Some ribbon, I just cut it, it was wide and I just cut it in half and sewed it onto the edge. It makes a little tuck spot, and some ruffle here, or trim. Got snowflake stickers, some lace sewn on here, cardstock. Vintage book page of music and an image here. This is just an advertisement that I grabbed. I've had it forever. It reminds me of my daughter. She is, as much as she loves snow, she prefers summer and the beach, and she would live by the ocean if she could. But, you know, we live in the middle of the United States, so that doesn't happen. But she's been talking a lot about it, and these guys just made me think of that. So I did a little journaling here and just washi taped it on there. So I got my first entry. Well, actually I almost have like 2 entries in here already. This is just front of a Christmas card that I just clipped in here for some journaling. I had it glued to something else and it didn't work out. We got a little jingle bell pinned onto this tab. Just a sticker right here. Another one of those poinsettia things. This is just an envelope that's stamped with washi tape on it to keep extra little stickers and goodies that I may choose to use, or would like to use, plan to use, if I don't forget about them, in the journal throughout the year. Some stickers and a stamp. This is that Cardinal just writing paper, notepad paper that I stapled them together and then washi in here to make like a little note area. I figured for extra little notes or any, funny little things I want to remember, I could just keep them in there. And I kept that on there with the original year that I made this, and I will probably put somewhere on here finished in 2017, just because it's funny. And there is my very full, very decorated, embellished journal that I plan on making even more decorated and embellished. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do a flip through after it's done. I'm thinking I might. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in seeing that. I don't know. I think that the main thing I'm going to be adding is some journaling and pictures. So I don't know if that would interest you. Let me know. And so I'm going to sign off. So bye y'all. See you later. Thanks for watching.